me compare chrono kwa aden aso for then mo catch mu members no. This is a message. Mo kasanti o mu ye wo kuyan ye nyuma nyina. Uko fakis to need the neighbor wa duma ma obegu adwuma na ma aden. Min can religion but listen and profile ain't playing na ya Christopher into mo sam na meka ewa ha. What is happening? Uko funny but now the empire unya done one no odi watem.
So thank you very much for your time. Some 16 minutes to hit 8 o'clock. That's what time it is from the studios of Love 99.5. Grateful that you're spending your morning with us. And yesterday we began a conversation where we talked about the attitude of the Ghanaian worker towards work, and we've heard that a lot of employers or businessmen have complained over time about the attitude of the Ghanaian, and they have said that, for example, the Ghanaian when employed is unfriendly towards customers. So you might go to a shop to buy something, you might go to a business entity somewhere, the person who you would working or interfacing with has frowned his or her face. There's nothing like a welcoming smile to make you feel at home to do business with that business entity. Now, in the same sound that we shared with you, the man was talking about the fact that he has employed a lot of Christians, and Christians as we are, we often come up and say we're going to church. It doesn't reflect in what we do. Because given the opportunity, when you employ the Ghanaian worker, what he or she does is to steal from you. And yesterday I learned a new word for the Ghanaian who steals, Alibaba. That they turn themselves into the Alibabas of the business, and they're stealing from you. Another thing that they do is that within a week or two, they want to be at par with the owner of the business. They want to live large. They want to live more comfortable like the owners of the business. In that same soundbite, you could hear the man, for example, raise concerns about the fact that people don't plan. They just give birth anyhow. They just give them birth, basa, and there's nothing like proper upbringing. And then this same employee hates the business owner. So they bad mouth the person. They go outside, oh, my boss, oh, my boss, you see. They always are running down the image of these business owners. So that was for yesterday. But interestingly, when we activated the phone lines, many of you were of the view that the Ghanaian and his attitude or her attitude towards work could be like that because of the employers, the business owners. And many of you said that it is happening so because the owners don't treat the workers right, the owners don't pay the workers well. So we have decided to bring to you a part 2 of that conversation. What we're asking this morning is, can the owners of businesses be blamed for the attitude and behavior of workers, of the Ghanaian worker? Can the owners of businesses be blamed for this? And if yes, how much of the blame can they take? How much of the blame can they or should they take? If you don't mind, let's say over 10, how much blame would go to the owners of the businesses as to why the Ghanaian attitude is like that towards work? Well, Charlie, we all know, say, times are hard, but still money day town, money day in Ghana. With 590 mobile, you can make cash every day of the week from Monday through to Sunday. All you need is to dial *959#, choose a game of the week, and select the game you want to play, ranging from Direct One, Too Sure, PEM, or Banker, and win some cash the same day. Check out the live draws for your winning number on UTV every Monday to Saturday from 7:15 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and on Sundays from 6 p.m. to 6:15 p.m. So what are you waiting for? Make that extra cash to sort your body out. For any further enquiries of the 590 mobile game, kindly call the official King NLA customer service line on 0596 921 590 or visit the official Facebook page at King NLA Mobile, 590 Mobile at Dawnsem. Now, 2 giants are meeting. They call it the Big Brother Titans, and it's here. Now, 2 African giants, Nigeria and South Africa, come together in Biggie's house. Now, the show will stream live 24 hours every day on the pop-up channels 198 on DSTV and 129 on GoTV. Catch the daily highlights at 9:30 p.m. and eviction shows at 7 p.m. on Sundays on Aquaba Magic DSTV channel 150 and GoTV 101. Dial *759# to stay connected and witness all the drama and excitement in the epic season of Big Brother Titans. You know it already, don't you? A message from the Ghana AIDS Commission that says condomless sex is risky sex, and if it's not on, it's definitely not in. Let me explain to you why. Because, I have centers across the country continue to record new HIV infections. The 2021 HIV and AIDS estimates show that 16,938 new infections were recorded in that year. This, presupposes that people engage in risky behaviors, including having unprotected sex and abusing and injecting drugs. Sex may be fun, but HIV is not. Getting HIV from a few minutes of pleasure is not worth it. Be smart. Wear a condom every time you want to have sex. It will protect you from sexually transmitted infections, including HIV. Now, if you inject drugs, please do not share your injecting equipment with anyone else. This message is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission. Ghana AIDS Commission working actively and in partnership towards elimination of HIV and AIDS in Ghana. Well, I'll be sharing some other information with you shortly. But before I do all that, I'd like to say to you that your contributions to our conversation can be sent to our WhatsApp number 055 11 People are blaming, business owners, employers for the bad attitude of the Ghanaian worker. Do you agree? And if you do, how much blame should the Ghanaian worker or that businessman take under the circumstances? We're live on Facebook, so join us there as well by dropping your contributions there. Is LUV 99.5 FM. Mr. Evans Nunu joins me again this morning. He's an economist. Elder Dr. Edu Ninkra, a CEO, Makion Group of Companies, is also here. And Erastus Asaredonko, he's a senior reporter, multimedia group, also right here with me in the Studios of Love 99.5. Charlie, I don't have a lady on the panel. Oh, Charlie, this is bad. Erasmus, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So yesterday you were listening into the conversation.
Yeah.
And you didn't walk into the studios.
I stormed.
You stormed into the studios because you, per the conversation we were having, looked as if we were putting all the blame on the employee. What is your actual concern with the conversation, and how come that pushed you to get into the studios?
Thank you very much. On the ground, we are people who liaise with people on the ground. We talk a lot. So we have experiences from people, and we do know how much people are paid and how they are treated, because some people walk in here to our newsrooms to complain. Some of them will have to go to the employers, talk about it and all that. And it's horrible the way Ghanaian employees are treated. Largely, employers feel they are doing the employees good.
A favor, huh?
A favor.
For employing you.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm employing you, I'm doing you a favor. So when you come in, I expect you, that master-servant kind of relationship should be there.
Yes, sir, master.
Yes. And we also find out that many of them do not have well-structured institutions or businesses. And so they do not follow an organized pattern in the way they deal with employees. This week, you've been dealing with the business clinic. You've highlighted a whole lot of things. And I bet you, if you should go to the various organizations and companies one by one, you realize that many of these things are non-existent. So I employ you. I decide how much you take. There's no line of, okay, tomorrow when this goes up or that goes up, you're going to get a pay rise or something. Nothing of that sort. If there are problems, how do I address it? If you come late, what should happen? If you are doing this or that, what should happen? Nothing like that. And so you find out that many employers tell the employees that, okay, work hard for me. If the business booms, I'm going to also reward you handsomely. In many of the cases, that's where the problem comes, and they come to our newsroom for redress. You find out that they will work hard and all that. When the business starts booming, they find petty squabbles and they sack them. With nothing at all, sometimes with nothing at all. I understand. Employees, Ghanaian employees, many of them especially, let me be a bit biased towards people in Kumasi and Ashantis in general. Attitude is very bad, but still I blame the employers, and this is why. You have set up your business. You state your rules. You do it, you structure it very well to the extent that he knows what he or she knows what he's taking home. If I work to this extent, this is the time. You start from 6 a.m., you end at 6 p.m., and I pay you this much. If you work extra, or sometimes the job demands that you work extra, I'll pay you this amount. Again, employers are not paying realistic salaries and wages. I can bet you the highest somebody is paid, local businesses today, may not go beyond 1,000 Ghana cedis. 1,000, the next one may be papa. People are paid 300 cedis, 250 cedis. There are big institutions here, I cannot mention names. Big institutions currently, they are paying workers 350 cedis. One of them, I took somebody to one of these companies, so I know for a fact. 350 cedis. Calculate. If that person should take trotro, if the person is staying around Ahojo, if you take trotro to say Santasi, that will be around 5 cedis in, 5 cedis out. Calculate. At the end of the month, how much is that? So if you pay the person 350 cedis, that's even below the minimum wage. So if you are paying unrealistic wages and salaries, and you expect that everything should be okay for this particular person, so I'm doing you a favor, I'm giving you a job. Yes, you're giving the person a job, he's working hard and all that, but you're not paying realistic wages. So if the person gets a chance to make ends meet, he will do it.
No, let's be real with the words. If the person gets a chance to steal,
make ends meet,
to steal, to be an Alibaba, the person will steal. But Erastus, and listen, in case you just joined us, this is Love Night Up and 5, and this is Love in the Morning. We're continuing our conversation from yesterday, where business owners are blaming the Ghanaian worker for their bad attitude and the fact that they are thieves. They steal from their business owners or their employers all the time. But yesterday, when we activated the phone lines, we got to realize that many Ghanaians are of the view that the situation is so because the business owners, the employers, don't pay their workers well and don't treat them well as well. And that's how come the Ghanaian worker has that attitude and that stealing behavior. Do you agree that the Ghanaian worker is like that because he or she is not paid well, because he or she is not treated well, and therefore the blame should be placed at the doorstep of the business owner? Join us on our WhatsApp number 055-1111-995. And when you join us on Facebook, maybe along the line you might lose sight or track of the conversation. When you join us on Facebook, we have a very big monitor that displays the topic, so that will keep you informed and you can make your contributions as well. But Erastus, question is this. You have taken people out there to try to help them get jobs, according to you, what you just said a while ago. When they are looking for their jobs, what are they told? Are they not told about the job they will be doing, how long they'll be working for in terms of hours during the day, and how much they'll be paid?
They are told, but in many of the cases, it doesn't work out that way. That's why I'm saying that many of the businesses are not organized. And so you are told that you'll be working from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. But then you realize that in the course of the job, you are working beyond 6 a.m. Sometimes during Christmas and other things, you work way beyond, up to about 1 a.m. And the person who employed you is not telling you anything. That, okay, I'm adding this to your salary or I'm adding that to your salary. Sometimes, even when they close and they're outside, it's 1 a.m. and he has to find a way of getting home. And many of the time, the employer doesn't care how you get home. When you take the drinking pubs and all that, shockingly, you will realize that many of the employers think that you will get tips from clients. And so he has pegged the tips as part of your wage.
And indeed, I know of situations where some of these guys who work in pubs, on their way home, get attacked by armed robbers.
Yeah.
They are beaten, they are robbed, they get injured and all that.
Yes.
On a few occasions, the owners of these spots would foot the medical bills, but on many occasions that I have witnessed, they don't help much.
And when they think that you are becoming a burden because of the injuries you sustained on the job, they sack you.
Mr. Nikra,
I wanted to land with this. The other bit is that many of the employers are the ones who are also teaching the employees how to steal.
To become the Alibaba son.
Yes, because they themselves are the Alibaba and the employees are the 40 thieves. Because if you are evading tax, and many of the shops in the do that, they are not issuing VAT invoices. So they sell, they put the money in their stuff, they sell, and these boys who are carrying the load and working for them, they know. And so you don't issue VAT invoices, you sell, and then when somebody is demanding a receipt, quickly you write something which is, and you give over. None of them are doing that. Then you pack the money and go home. And you brag about building mansions and all that with your money. And they are watching you. So you are stealing from government. Sometimes they also take the VAT return and they don't even pay to government chest. And they are watching you. And meanwhile, you are not paying them well. Somebody is carrying a load of rice, and they are loading a big truck of rice, and you pay them 50 cedis per sack.
50 pesos?
50 pesos per sack. And then they will be offloading now, how much do they get? So when they see that you are stealing, and they also have the opportunity to steal from you, there is no remorse.
I know of a story where, and I got that story yesterday, there's this guy who has a very big hotel, and if people come and sleep in the hotel, and at the end of the month they have to pay their VAT, he realizes that the amount of money that's going to bank coffers is big. So he has somebody who sits down, and then will be taking out some of the entries, the number of people who came to sleep in there. They will make sure that they don't give you the right number of people who came to sleep in the hotel. Invariably telling you that they did not have enough money, or they didn't make enough money. So that would reduce the amount of taxes they have to pay. And like you're saying rightly, these workers see things, the cutting of corners that you are into. You're not paying them well. And so what do they also do? They know that you are stealing, you're not paying them well, so they're also stealing in return.
Yes.
So Nick, how do you respond to all this? That if we really want to blame the bad attitude of the Ghanaian worker, we should blame the employers, we should blame the business owners.
Thank you very much, David. We are all to blame. All of us, the employer and the employee, we are all to be blamed. In the sense that, like Erastus was just saying, and what you have just said, I have witnessed this before. So in that hotel, the boss is the director's daughter. And so when people come, they pack all the money and then they take it to the office. And then she sits down with the head receptionist. And then, how much did you make yesterday or the week? Maybe 1,000 cedis. Okay. Put this 300 cedis here. That is unaccounted. So we have 700. Then we are now going to account for the 700. So as the guy was doing with the lady, because every time they are so this kind of paper, then he also found a way out of also, if it is 1,000, he reduces it to maybe 900. So he has 900.
He has 100 for himself.
Yes.
Brings 900. And 300 we put aside.
And then the rest is account. You see, so we are all to be blamed. And I believe that trying to come out with a solution, we need to formalize.
Before we talk about the solutions, would you agree that in some instances, employers have, let me rephrase, employers can pay workers better than they are doing, but yet are not doing
that? I wouldn't totally agree. Sometimes we look at it from a distance. They are not making the required sales. I've had an instance of when I was the chairman of the Ghana Employees Association, meeting a company's workers because they were agitating for salary increase. And then when we went through the books, it was then that we even realized that the company is even making losses. I'm taking the cost of production, cost of everything, coming to the gross and everything. Apparently, the accountant was making, had given them wrong calculations. So even from the production side, they were making losses.
I understand that one. But are there genuine situations where the business is doing very well? The owner of the business can pay.
Sure.
Well. So why, if you're doing well, and you know that once your business is doing well, it's as a result of the workers you have. and without those workers, you would run at a loss. Why wouldn't you pay them well to encourage them to do better?
That is because, like Erastus said, the system is not well structured. Otherwise, you cannot pay below the minimum wage. And currently, the minimum wage should not be anything less than $450. Currently. So if you are paying the person $300, $350, then of course you are cheating the person. Who monitors such things? Who watches the watchman? And so we need a system where all of us, because if I'm not doing what I'm expected to do, then the person also would want to find a way of upping up.
But as businessmen, I'm going to use a word. It's not. I don't intend to insult. Doesn't common sense come to play? In the sense that, okay, so this is my business. I don't want my business to collapse. I want my business to be very profitable. I have 20 workers who are contributing to the success of my business. Let me have their well-being at the back of my mind. Let me pay them well so that they will give us their best for my business to thrive. Business owners have this at the back of their minds.
Sure.
So why don't they pay them?
Yesterday I said something.
But you had people who have worked for you for what, 27 years?
Yes, and I was going to say that, you see, it's not even all the time the salary that you are paying.
It's not just about the money.
No, it's not just about the money.
Yeah.
It's about the relationship. Look at when 2020, when we had COVID, and almost everything went down, and McKeown won an award. And so we decided, even though financially we weren't sound, but we decided to reward workers, and then we give deep freezers, television sets, so many things. Almost everybody got something. You see, the salary may be small, but the person thinks that, oh, in this difficult time that you have come out with something of this nature, why wouldn't I give you my best? You understand? And so, in as much as we say we should pay the required minimum wage, not below the minimum wage, we must also go beyond, showing off what we have, but rather letting them understand that in all things, when things improve, you have them at heart. Just last year, when cost of fuel and everything was just skyrocketing, and then we decided, no, if we are not careful, workers cannot come to work. Even though sales was just going down, let us up it for the workers. The workers themselves, Sabria, I'm with you, yes, because Yantumua also know who they appreciate the little.
How many people will do what you guys did at the time?
And that is why we are encouraging others to also come in.
No, tell me, how much blame should business owners or employers take when it comes to the bad attitude of the Ghanaian worker, where he's unfriendly, not smiling whilst at work, whilst he's stealing, from the owner of the business and all that? How much blame do you think the business owners ought to take in this?
Well, the calculation will be rather difficult because
some over 10, I can say 6 over 10 or 7 over 10 or 5 over 5. Rough estimate. Let's have some.
50%. Then the employee will also take.
Why?
Because Erastus was enumerating, it's quite common. See, because sometimes you see the growth of the business. The business owner will be building more businesses, buying cars, will be building, and the employee is still employee.
Going on vacation.
From the same shoe to the same handkerchief, everything is the same. To an extent that it creeps even into the church. If what we call one-man church, the person, the head pastor, will be driving Range Rover, Land Cruiser, and just the next deputy pastor will be driving some old
Corolla.
So you see, it's something that is so common. And sometimes we are all humans and we are rational. So you see these things and you feel like, why is the business growing? Why is the CEO growing or the business owner growing? And we are still the way we are. And of course, if you're not a Christian or someone controlled by morality or integrity, then you also begin to do things. So I think that, like I have been calling him Mr. McKeown. Mr. Ninkra is saying, we are all into it, you see.
But again, I know that it's not all about the money. It's about how you even talk to an employee, how you relate with the employee. But even if we want to talk about the money bit, aren't there people who are being paid well, but are still having a bad attitude? Don't we have people who are paid very well but would still steal
It is,
from the business
it is,
owner?
It is.
Yes, that is also there. That is also a possibility. In any case, it depends on the nature. There are people who are poorly paid but will never take anything from you, and there are others, give them all the monies in the world, they will still steal. And so that is also there. But in most cases, two things may account for this: opportunity. You see,
The opportunity to steal.
yes.
Okay.
In most cases, if people have the opportunity to take money, sometimes they start by giving themselves loan. Let me take 20 cedis. I will pay when I get the money. Nobody catches the person. Nobody sees it. So you see, there is a proverb that is quite very much used here. I say, when you're there from no one find I don't know whether you've heard that before. Yeah. So once you take 20 cedis, nobody sees you, nobody talks about it. The next day you feel like taking 40 cedis before you realize you've accumulated like 1,000 and there's no way you will pay, so you cover it up. And so these are some of the things. But then, of course, sometimes it's attitude based. There are people, whether you pay them well or not, they will still do that. But there are several others too, if they think that they are growing with the business, if they think they have interest in the business because you have interest in them, they will do the right thing for you.
Mr. Nigra, let me throw in this question. So if, for example, a worker feels that he or she is not being treated well, he or she is not being paid well, does he have a room to approach? You're a business owner, and you've done with a lot of business owners. That's why I'm asking you this question. Does that individual have a room to engage with the business owner and say, Charlie, boss, Charlie, my salary, oh, now boss, do they have room to do this without being victimized?
Depends on, it comes back to the relationship once again. Because if you are open to your workers, if you have a very friendly atmosphere, the environment is, then the worker can come to you personally, and then maybe one or two things discuss with you. I've had situations where people, one or two workers will walk to me. So, boss, they say they need my identity and can put my baby on my ear. I mean, that politeness. And then you say, okay, Martin, maybe it's very, that should be the way. But you see, when you have a dictator boss, then, because there's this place of work, when they see the director's car parked, everybody scatters. And so when something is even going bad, nobody tells you, and nobody fights for you. And the things, the man, the poultry farmer,
I spoke to
yesterday, my big brother, who passed away some 4 years ago, had a very big farm. And so they were stealing. He jailed two. Before crowd will go for the bus, the patch or near jail you.
So it doesn't go through the due process of
it goes through the process. Okay. Police for
prosecution and then just sentences.
Yeah, man. Then he realized that it was not solving the problem. So now he became friendly to the workers. See, so if, with all respect, if Erastus does something, then they will monitor everything and then just go and tell him. Erastus, what they you see, so you see how then the workers themselves will be policing
forthcoming with information.
Yes, policing the work for you to protect the work, because now he made them understand that if the farm collapses, it means you have no work to do.
Exactly.
And as long as the farm is working, you provide. So he used to, now after that, then he started providing them at least one good meal a day. Weekend, he will give them some eggs and those things. Or every month, eggs, take this, and then. So now the boys decided to put in their best, and then also to protect the business, so that at least they will continue to have.
So he saw some sense.
Yes.
And he realized that the prosecutions and the jailing was not working.
It won't work.
He changed his attitude towards his workers, and that solved the problem.
Sure.
So if you're a business owner, how are you relating to or with your workers? If you see yourself as the boss, the madam, and you're always insulting them, so they're saying that you want them to come home and wash your brazier and your panties for you. You didn't employ them for that kind of a job, but that's how some business owners treat their workers.
Many of them.
And if you don't treat them well, in some instances, we've even seen house helps who, when the parents are not there, manhandle and abuse the babies.
Yes.
CCTV camera picks them up. It's because you don't treat that person well. You talk to the person anyhow, insult the person, starve the person, sometimes even hit the person. So given the opportunity, he or she would also do the same to your own children. But I mean, people would want to work, not just for the fun of it, or for the fact that they love the job, but that they would also make ends meet and put body and soul together. Now, if business is not doing well, or their salary, put it this way, if their salary is not doing well, it's not as enough as they would think it will help them, is it wrong to walk to your employer and say, "Charlie boss,
no, it is not wrong. In fact, it might not even be bossier, as you put it. You could go to your boss and say that, please, can you give me something to probably pay my child's school fees?
Or maybe you have rent coming. You have sleepless nights because you can't pay your rent.
Sure.
And you have a boss who can help.
Yes.
How many people would be bold enough to walk up to the boss and say, "Charlie boss, my rent time at home"?
It is normal. People do it. I have one security man. For him, he always takes it for funerals. Anytime he has a funeral, boss, me you. Because he's not buying a car, he's not buying anything. It is these things these are unplanned expenditures. So normally he asks for money for this. But you see, it's normal for you to ask, who would you turn to?
Yes.
So obviously your boss is the immediate person. Otherwise, you have to visit a financial institution and go in for a loan or something.
But many business owners will not help.
Yes.
And sometimes it's not even about huge sums of money. Something small, some 50 cedis, some 100 cedis, some 150 or 200. And yet some business owners are so wicked, they will not do these things. And yet these same workers, they see your children and how you treat them, what you do for them. There are people who Christmas just went by. They didn't give any bonus to the workers. They didn't do anything for the workers. But the Erastus, I mean, I'll come to you with this question. If you're in a job and you think that you're not being treated well, or your salary is not good, instead of stealing, why don't you leave?
So that has been my principle all these years. In my former employment, I realized that my SNIT, when I quit the job, my SNIT was paid about just 6 months. Meanwhile, I've been there for about 10 years. When I asked the former boss, he said, I didn't pay. You see, it's my principle. If you won't work, quit. If you will work, use the platform to market yourself. Because everything you do, every opportunity given you is a chance for you to rise up. So if you are in a radio station and you're not being paid, you are an intern. And you think that you're not being treated well. So when you get an opportunity before the microphone, you mess up. It's about you. It's your brand. And you're spoiling it. There's an opportunity for you to learn on the job. If you do it well, it becomes part of your CV. Your employer may hate you or abuse you or do all manner of things. But then he knows you're a hard worker. He knows you are diligent and all that. You put an attitude to your work. Definitely, with time, he will either change his attitude or you will quit and find a very nice job because people will pass compliments to other people. So if you are not happy where you are and you want to quit, quit. But if you want to stay there, then perform very well, creditably.
Mr. Nikra, my next question to you is, you don't pay your worker well. Maybe the worker has a side issue, or side job, let me put it that way. That is giving him a little more extra cash. Yet, when you see that, you are uncomfortable. Why do business owners always jump to the conclusion that the fact that a person is living well, living nicely, he's stealing from my business?
It's because maybe he checks how much he or she pays you, and putting everything together, how did you get money to do the side business? Forgetting that not all businesses require physical capital to start. Some require that you use your brain. Some require some kind of talent to do. Others, like I said yesterday, require integrity because then Mr. Nunu can supply me things and I'll say go and pay, and then so that integrity alone has set me up. You see, but how many of the employers would go beyond, think beyond stealing? Not everybody steals. Not everybody steals. And one thing that we need to understand is that your employee is your number one customer. That one, if you don't accept that fact that your employee is your number one customer, and that you expect how you treat your employee reflects on how the employee treats the external customer. So we need to treat them well. You may not be paying the person good salary. No, for me, it is not always about money. I used to work in a place as a manager, as an accountant, and sometimes I would double as the company's driver. I'll park my car. Those who close late in the night, I'll go and drop them, come and park the car, then take my car home. And I was doing this, without thinking about the money. When I went to my boss to talk about, then I had even improved my CV academically. So when I went to my boss to talk about, then it comes to what Erastus says. On the job, I have experience. Academically, I'm now at a certain. Then I realized that no. So I was working, and then somebody recommended me to another person in the same industry. They had a problem. I went there to solve. I did not charge them. I never charged for anything. Then the man said, instead of him coming to do, why don't we employ him? So they discussed with their auditors. Then they employed me. They gave me more than 200% of what I was being paid. So I gave my boss 3 months instead of 1 month, 3 months, for him to think over it. If he could even adjust it, because I had worked with him for so many years. He didn't. So when the 3rd month arrived, I just left. When I left, he struggled to fill the gap because nobody will come and do the work of almost about 3. Because you have to employ a full-time driver, a full-time accountant, a full-time manager. He struggled, and up to now they are still struggling.
And I wanted to add to this. There is a particular case right now in court which I'm monitoring. It's about a pharmacy, a very popular pharmacy in Kumasi. And this guy started working with the gentleman, the owner of the pharmacy, right from scratch. And he's learned on the job, very diligent. In fact, I got to know him as a customer buying drugs from, and the way he will relate to you and all that, it kept me announcing to other people that, Charlie, you can buy your drugs here. But with time, he became very smart. He wasn't stealing from the man, but he saw that, Charlie, I must build contacts, and in future, I can also get my own shop. Yes, and so with time, he was able to set up a shop. Somebody, in fact, gave him the shop, and then the suppliers were giving him on credit. But when the man got to know about it, he said, hey, you're stealing my money. He brought auditors to audit. They found nothing. Still, he got him arrested, spent some time in cells as a form of punishment. Now they are in court, and the man is not bringing any evidence to support that the guy is stealing from him. So it's sometimes it's like that, and sometimes too people are really stealing.
Yeah, indeed they are. Alibabas. Let's join us now. 03-220-83596, 03-220-83597, 03-220-83598. We're having a continuation of our conversation we began yesterday, where business owners are saying that their businesses are collapsing. Others are saying they will not even start a business simply because of the attitude of the Ghanaian worker. The Ghanaian worker is unfriendly. The Ghanaian worker will badmouth you. The Ghanaian worker will steal from you. They are Alibabas. They will steal from you and all that. But when most of you called yesterday, your argument was that, listen, it's not about the Ghanaian worker stealing and bad-mouthing you and all that. It is because the owners of the business don't treat their workers well. They don't pay them well, and they're teaching them how to steal. No, I'll ask a question shortly as to, as business owners, if you see your worker hustle, your worker is hustling. Sometimes instead of going by transport, he's trekking. His clothes in Taraba, the worker is hustling. As a business owner, how should you feel? You give a response shortly. We have Aaron, Kofi, and Frank on the line. Let's start off with Aaron. Hi, Aaron. Good morning. Who's Aaron? I think we lost Aaron on the line. Hi, Kofi.
Yes, Dave. This is Kofi Wadjumba.
Aaron, call us back. I'd like to hear your input to our conversation. Aaron, please call us back. Go ahead.
Yes, Dave. I am so satisfied with the discussions today. Makuma Tom Yem Fom. This is the reality. In fact, Erastus has said it all, and Mr. Ninkra has also. In fact, this morning's discussion has been to my heart. Look, I was working with the hotel at Ahudun Shire. So I was then staying at Swami. My salary was 150 pesos, then 15,000 a month. From Swami to Ahudun Shire. So at the end of the month, this 15,000 or 150 pesos is not even able to pay my lorry fare. But because I had stayed home for so long, I wanted work to do. So I was, employed as a receptionist at that hotel. David, the director and the manager had written to SNET, to VAT, to Internal Revenue, that they were embarking on renovation, and so they were not paying anything. Meanwhile, we were receiving huge money, and the director was using the money to establish another hotel at Abuakwa. Meanwhile, he was paying nothing to government, and our salary too was nothing to write home about.
Kofi, in a nutshell, your point.
All that he was interested in is kick IOU.
So, Kofi, in a nutshell, wrap it up. Your point is.
So my point is that man, if you go through his records, how he got his money, he was stealing from government. And so those proprietors who are making noise that their employees are stealing from them, they stole.
I hear you, Kofi. Thank you very much. And as a worker, you didn't do anything about it. You didn't report him. Well, Frank is also on the line, isn't it? Frank, welcome. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, sir.
Yeah, David, how are you?
I am well, Frank. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. My take on this subject is very simple. See, it takes a higher risk to establish a business. Because when you're establishing a business, you are trying to test waters, you are trying to see if you're going to succeed. You take loans, you do all that. Is customers going to buy my stuff? Are they going to patronize my services? So the businessman is taking risk. So he tried to minimize his expenditure just to make sure that he can recoup the profit that he wants. If I employ somebody, I'm selling mobile phones. You come to the shop. They buy the phone, they don't buy the phone. I'm still going to pay you. And the thing is that when you are coming to the job, I gave you an offer. You accepted the offer. It doesn't matter if your transportation is high or low. Once you accept to work with the offer, you should go by it. And you should be sincere enough, because one day you can also be an employer. Once a worker, you can be an employer. So the way you treat somebody's business is the same way when you open your business, somebody's going to treat you. One thing I've noticed about workers, especially in the Ashanti region, is that I think they feel like they don't pay. Some of them, they don't pay rent. They don't even buy food. So they don't care. And they have friends they can go to beg for food and everything. So once they work...
So Frank, thank you very much. And I think that's why I was asking, and I'm here to get an answer. How business owners feel when generally their workers are struggling out there to make it. How do you feel? He's not able to pay fees, pay rent, or pay for account. And you know, how do you feel when your business is doing well and you're doing so well? How do you feel? Do you have Gabriel on the line?
Yes, sir.
Good morning. Welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Gabriel, you also have 1 minute. All callers, please, you have 1 minute each. I'll beg you for end of time. Let's do it in a minute. Gabriel, go ahead.
Okay. David, in my instances beyond, me call, me work, yes, I mean, me employ baby, the promote man. David. Una, me invest land, ye two assassins, so you get income be but almost like you are going to say, a Jumana who free Kumasi. So be a farming when you into Mubuamanash. Sometimes it's not about say payment, but 10 piano on person of but same level.
Everybody wants to grow in life. Everybody wants to grow in life. So genuinely help the person to grow. Listen, I know of a very, very rich man. I'll tell his story shortly. Let's engage with the callers. I'll tell about his story. He's somebody who does a lot of philanthropic works. He'll tell you how he became rich. And I ask myself, is he also helping others to become rich? Ken, good morning.
Good morning. You see, same level, BNB, David, you know what? If you're establishing business, if you lack human relationship skills or your human relationship skills are poor, do not. And then if you also lack good communication skills, do not. David, yesterday I was telling you about my former boss, Mr. Emmanuel Atta. David, you know this man, when I was going to school, he helped me, not billions of money, but the money that he gave to me to assist me further my education. It made me return back after my national service to give my service to him. It has not to do with me wanting to be equal to him. And it has nothing to do with maybe paying me higher salary then. But what he did for me, his communication with his workers made me that way, came back to serve him. You see, I have 2 taxis that operate for me. Well, when I was employing these 2 drivers, I told them how much would they take as a salary at the end of the month. They were like, "Oh, sir, a taxi David, you see that?" But I told them, no, I have to pay you guys. At least a token of money will do. And then these guys they are serving me well. David, how you deal with your workers?
Plays a role as whether they'll serve you well or not. Ken, thank you very much for joining us. 03220-83596, 83597, 83598. Christoph, welcome. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David. I hope you are fine, sir.
Yes, I am well.
Yesterday I was missing, but all the same, I'm here today. David, I think the employer's inability to give the employees attractive wages and salaries shouldn't be a justification for us or for workers to steal, condone, and connive and make life difficult for the employer. David, if you think that the offer is not good for you, you don't stay there and steal. It is not the best. You see, when you do that, God can't bless you. But you don't know the sacrifice the employer has made to even put up something like that. 2, that notwithstanding, David, what do we get? If you go to India, you go and bring these Indians and come and give them, houses, attractive wages and salaries and all that. Whilst at the indigents of the country, they don't get a quota. Then you come back and tell us that they are stealing you, they are not truthful, they are not honest, and all that. We should tell them that, look, if you are able to do this to the Indians, you think that they are honest and what? And faithful. You do some for the indigents and try them and see. David, if you go on like this, a time will come, things will be more and more difficult. It will be worse. So
I hear you, Chris. Thanks very much for joining us. I can see Mike on the monitor. Mike, hold the line for me. Nana Kweku is next, though. Nana, good morning. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Your contribution is?
There is no justification for stealing in the workplace. It looks like people are trying to say that if you are not being paid well, then
since yesterday, nobody, none of my panel, including myself, have said that there's a justification for stealing.
Because people are using that from a bar or someplace you are not being paid well, and then so employers are not paying people well, so then it becomes something like if you are not being paid well, then it comes and you go out. There is no justification, and let's not forget. Probably you guys are not businessmen. Some people set up business. From the word go from the first year, if you decide that you're going to pay the minimum wage and pay that higher, you'll be running out of loss. But by the end of the year, you have realized that the capital that you even set up the business would have been off. Yes, I'm not justifying that workers need not be paid well, but sometimes you need to understand that, look, the business is just robbed them. Let me give an example. Instead of a filling station, you don't even end a customer. And the first month, you are going to get something small. And then you're being asked that, look, pay the person 1,000 cedis. Once at the end of the month, you might have even just made 300 cedis. So that from the word go in that month, if you're paying someone 1,000 cedis, you've made a loss of 700 cedis. And it's going to continue for probably a year. So, yes, we are not justifying that workers need to be paid well, but as much as that we are also saying that we should not justify that people need to be stealing from their workplaces.
I hear you, Nana Koko there. Thank you very much. Mike is next on the line, but before I engage with Mike, listen, I'd like to hear from you too. 03220-83596, 03220-83597, 03220-83598. Join our conversation. Mike, you're next. Good morning and welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Brian, Mike, good morning. Mike, maybe.
I say, I am not the be almost so you be a juma, you find Ipa, from scratch. Ebia, Mostati a Jumano, the Bacon, Kaya Bako, Nedaya Bako, about 3 years, 5 years. Was it there? Kahon, was talking the break. Even the back pocket one. No, we just go to come and now what would blood, Moja, or time did not pay your demand, not bear 5 years or 2 muda. And they what was the better, but what would make 5 years? And they have plot plan, unpo bida, uni bimpo, and they maybe rent class one. Yes, Okobosiana, or their country or rent. Okay, tell him, over the next 1,000 a day. Over to me, 1 billion, 500 million. Our boys, and given up what tournament, not Ochaka 1,000, 8 million, 5 million. So the way send me, I only your banner, Mrs. Canham, one, maybe to the Diabetes case, car free size getting because I didn't say, yeah, you mark, did not tell me damn couple swam, madame couple swag, give me Yatika, I'm the cabinet, this time you call Bobby.
Mike, thanks for joining us. And thank you very much, Mike. Let's put to Michael, who's next on the line. Hi, Michael. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for asking, sir. So let's hear you.
Good. I want to take it on this angle. I honestly think that the work that is supposed to be handled by one person is handled or is being handled by 3 or 4 persons, and for that reason, the money is shared between the 3 or the 4 persons. In other places, a driver is responsible to unload and offload their trucks. They are responsible to unload and offload their trucks. So for that reason, they are paid for those, the so-called, those who are going to unload and load the products. But in this country, the driver is driving, what do you call it, this small, this...
the Vits and Co, yeah?
Yes, and the driver will just come, park the vehicle, and go and stand somewhere. And this small vehicle has 2 mates on this vehicle. So it means those 2 has to be paid.
Kia, in your Vits, Kia. Okay, the smaller Kias, not the Vits cars, the smaller Kias, okay.
So the money would be shared. The money would be shared among the 3. I see these small trucks, I've forgotten the name, these Kia trucks loaded with sachet water. And there are 3 persons on the truck, the driver and 1 person holding an invoice, and another who is supposed to be the laborer who would unload the water to the people or the person who is buying it.
After sledge. So thank you very much, and Michael, we hear you. But the bottom line is, even if you reduce the number of workers on that one truck, that small truck, so you're saying is what you're saying is that there's a driver, there's somebody who's taking account of the daily sales, and then there's somebody who's offloading. If you should drop the person who's offloading, let's say the water, and you add it to the driver's work, would you pay him double for the work?
They don't, unfortunately.
Let's go to our final caller. Sledge, welcome, sir. Good morning.
Thank you, David. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, boss. Thanks for asking.
David, in as much as we believe that the employers are not paying the workers well, no employee has the right to be stealing. David, our rules or our constitution counts on that. You are an employee. You are given appointment letter. You accept it. In as much as the word goes, the employer too also have to review the terms and conditions. You have no right, David. There are workers who are being paid well and still stealing. It is about our attitude, David. The average Ghanaian worker is a thief. No matter what you do for the worker, obey you. David, the employers are also suffering. In as much as some of them, as Erasto said, those working at the pubs, the restaurants and those things, but sometimes, David, let's also change our mindset, our attitude towards work. Let's take somebody's work.
So that's one of the things we talked about yesterday, that we start from the home. Yeah. Raise the children well, raise them well. When they go to school, inculcate in them these, disciplines. And one thing that, Mr. Ninkra made mention of yesterday, Dr. Ninkra made mention yesterday, was that integrity can take you everywhere. Yeah. So when you have the right integrity, you don't even have money to start your own business, but you can start a business because of the integrity and the trust people have for you. And I can addition maybe if I try, yes, so you will be here. That's how it is.
David, before I forget, let me add this. You see, you realize that many of the businesses, especially the females who attend to customers, many of them have very bad attitude. When I went into some of them, you realize that the employer is into some immoral relationship with the lady. So, you cannot sack the lady, and the lady is there driving away customers.
So sack her and keep her as a side chick or whatever. I mean, but the rest is, if the job is not good, the pay is not good, why don't people report to the Labour Commission?
Hey, you want to report? You become the black sheep amongst the workers.
Right, if the Labour Commission people go
see, I'm sorry to say this, but when you go to some of these institutions, people take money before they attend to your cases. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality. Police, Labour Commission, VAT, whatever. There are some people who take money before they attend to your issues. The worker who is going to report doesn't have that kind of money. And so you will report, they will say, okay, they go to the employer, and then they take their card from the employer. The employer will ask, so who came to report? Say, oh, pass mercy, this guy came to report. And then you are sacked. You see? And so it prevents money from going that tangent. In many of the cases that come to our newsroom here, it's either they have been sacked already and now they are seeking redress. Because whilst they are in business, nobody, and they will confide in you and tell you, please don't mention my name.
I hear you. How do you, employers, business owners, feel when you see your workers struggle?
Yeah, the truth is that I'm sure any well-meaning employer would agree with me.
Or qualifying it well-meaning?
Yes. If you're having employees who are in the higher class or who are doing so well, you feel proud that you have recruited such people or you are the employer of such people. So anytime you see your employees growing, you are having a meeting and you can see prominent people there sitting down there and you are the one paying them, you feel fulfilled as an employer. So I don't see.
So bottom line, when you see your worker hustling, struggling, find out why, see what you can do to help. I know of a woman somewhere who, when you work with her and you do well, after 5 years, if you have a child, she will pick that child and see that child through school. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think there's a blessing because she wants to change the face of that family. So as business owners, do the right thing, and as employees, give off your best. Give off your best. It helps. Let's go into our WhatsApp console and share with you voice messages that have come through.
Good morning, David. I'm not paying me to program but employers, the one who see treaty employees. Many will be a Juma almost 10 years were doomed. Me quite man or catch him say. Yeah, you when you queer who made man, na Jumani Tina or Beboy. A Jumani Tina on him do ye. Go catch will be said, so Beboy a party. And you are the Beboy and a bush for, and see a Jumana bush for any baby. It has more catching if I can say, a corn of Fasuani, a yampa treatment or demand nipano. Yani jai. David, at that time, near Juma to say more because near fear any bit, to him say, or be boy, I'm a swage na baby. And Timo come quite pay and call for the man call for what a crown I am yoya. And to say, Yami so no more be viom. Yeah, Jumo, you queer woman, I just see you because near a Christian background. And so you're almost 10 years, and so you're con lay assembly.
It is sad, isn't it? And so if you're a business owner, take a cue from what she just said and treat your workers right. Because without them, you are nobody. You can sack them and bring a new person. You may not have a good quality worker like the one you lost.
You won't.
But listen,
Good morning, Dave. My name is Akuetteh. In fact, you are doing a great job for humanity. My submission is that what the man said, the audio you played, is neither here nor there. Why is he tagging Christians? We have Christians out there who are working assiduously for Mother Ghana. The fact that we are having one or two bad nuts among us doesn't mean that Christians are bad. We have been disgraced for quite a long time. Christendom has done nothing wrong. He should render an unqualified apology to Christendom.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Charlie, something exciting really happened in here. You are saying that we should not add religion. You should not add religion. Somebody is saying that, and I was saying off air that, listen, the Christendom, the church is like a hospital. One of my partner members said,
some people will not respond to treatment.
Oxygen cracker not respond to treatment. No, shall take a listen to this one.
Good morning, David. This is Rashid once again. Thanks for having the conversation today from a different perspective. But David, come to think of it, which business owners are we talking about? In fact, which employers are we talking about? That same employers that conceal their sales figures just to dodge taxes, same employers that will go to the accountant and tell the accountant that today I want us to pay VAT for this amount. I cannot pay income tax that January wants, and so we have to understate our sales and how, in another sense, understate the profit figure so that I will pay less tax. Is this the employer blaming the Ghanaian worker for misconduct? Now, if I am at the workplace and you as an employer, you force me to do all these things to conceal figures so that you pay lower tax, when you are stealing the state, you are stealing the government. You do not pay the worker well. Now, let's look at this, David. Now, an employer who has gone through the ranks, gone to school, become who he is of today with much experience, fear to employ a person of higher grade, who has been taught of ethics and morality, who can do job as it suits. He fears to pay that person higher salary, and so will go in for somebody with lower rank, lower certificate, and SHS graduate, and think he can train that SHS graduate to do the work that a person who is supposed to be of higher qualification will do.
Okay, listen, let's share at least one more voice message. We can drop at least one more, and then we'll call it a day this morning on Love in the Morning. Here we go.
Dave, good morning. How many people are talking about employers cheating employees? Have they factored in the fact that if it is easy to set up a business, why is it that a lot of businesses are not set up? People shouldn't be thinking about that. The only thing is that when you are going to work as a worker, you think of the output that you want to put in. When you put in your maximum effort, you tell employer that, employer, I think I'm doing well. Can I be given some promotion or extra payments in work? No employer who is having a serious worker will want to lose that worker. Okay, so the public shouldn't be thinking about the amount of money that I'm going to pay. In fact, if you have not put in something, how can you get it out?
All right, thank you very much. And to all of you, we say thank you very much for your time. To you, Rastus Asare Donko, to you, Elder Dr. Eninkra, and of course to you, Dr. Evans Nunu. Well, it's been another edition of Love in the Morning, all part of our Love FM Finance and Investment Clinic. And God willing, tomorrow we'll bring to you some more conversations on radio. Thank you very much for your time. Well, and we'll be crossing over to Joy 99.7 later this morning. They've got that name and shame conversation. I mean, so is it a school of shame or a school of fame?
Schools of shame.
Schools of shame, and the education minister didn't take kindly to it at all. So that conversation and